Welcome into today's San Francisco 49ers Report. We're getting ready for Niners-Packers on Saturday night in the divisional round. It's the final 8 in the NFL playoffs for the right to make it to the Final Four. We're taking your questions. We're taking your comments, your hot takes, and all of your analysis from our loyal subscribers right here on the show. Speaking of our subscribers, if you're subbed to the channel, you're a real one. If you're not, you're missing out. First of all, informative, entertaining, insightful Niners shows every single day that keeps you in the know and makes you a smarter football fan, because I believe our football knowledge is great, but also you're missing out by not joining our watch parties. We go live for every single Niner game, and we're running it back on Saturday for this divisional round watch party. 2-hour pregame show. We hope to see you there, 6:15 p.m. Eastern, 3:15 p.m. Pacific, giving away a Joe Montana autographed mini helmet, as well as a Super Chat raffle item, and we'll be taking down some drinks as well. Having some fun, because it's the best place to experience game day outside of being at the actual game. Words of wisdom, $5 Super Chat right here. My only concern in the playoffs, the Niners don't play well from behind. The question is that a Kyle Shanahan thing, or a Purdy thing, or a bit of both? It's a very fair question to ask. And when we knew that the Niners were going to make it into the playoffs after they won the NFC West, and when they locked down that number 1 seed, I listed some of my concerns with this team. One of them, playing from behind. Field goal kicker and Jake Moody. Tackling. Right tackle Colton McKivitz. All of these things are certainly concerns for San Francisco. And this is why I think it's really important to get out ahead of Green Bay and to take that early lead. You fall down a score or two, you start to press. You hear the "oh" from the crowd, and things get tight. And then Brock Purdy tries to force it. And Kyle Shanahan is taken out of his plan and out of his game plan. And that's part of the Kyle Shanahan problem. That opening script, Niners are dominant. When they're playing from ahead, he's able to dictate the flow and the complexion of the game. But when he has to come from behind, his offensive game plan and the play calls kind of go to shit because he has to pivot a little bit. And because the play calls aren't the same, I think he presses a little bit and Brock Purdy presses a little bit. The Packers are also really good at playing from ahead because they can run it and they can throw it. So that is a concern for me going into the playoffs, and I share those worries. Words of wisdom. Edward Willis, $2 Super Chat. Are you worried about Jake Moody if the game is close? I'm petrified that this game could be decided by a Jake Moody miss. Jake Moody in Week 18 missed an extra point as well as a field goal. We know what happened in the preseason game when Josh McDaniels froze him in a preseason game, and his kicks were not even close. They were going to the coast of California from Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. And then what happened in the rain, and it could rain on Saturday, in the wind against the Cleveland Browns. 40-plus yard attempt, and Jake Moody missed. Now, the good news is inside 40, he's missed one kick all year. It happened in Week 18. And when he was at Michigan, he did connect on a lot of clutch field goals. But being a rookie, bright lights, Levi's Stadium, divisional round, NFL, when the pressure is on, you really can't prepare for that type of moment unless you're in it. And who did the Niners move on from? A kicker who we had no concerns about in Robbie Gould, who was perfect in his playoff career. If this game is close and it comes down to a Jake Moody field goal, it's going to be sphincter tightening season for all Niner fans out there. It's the only way I can put it. Today's Niners Report is presented by PrizePicks, and this is why I love the largest independently run daily fantasy sports app in North America. First of all, it's the best DFS app as well. It's completely free to download. And if you use the code CLNS at prizepicks.com/CLNS, you get a $100 deposit match, meaning you put in $100, you get $100 back. The more or less game is a blast, and in playing it, you can win up to 25 times your money. Here are the picks that I really like going into Saturday's game. Christian McCaffrey more than 92.5 rushing yards. Deebo Samuel more than 16.5 rushing yards because of the Packers' struggles against the ground game. and Aaron Jones has 4 consecutive games of more than 100 rushing yards, I like them more than 69.5 rushing yards right there. So daily fantasy sports made easy. Pick 2 or more players. You choose more or less on their projected stat lines. And I'm seeing Alicia in the chat. Jake Moody is going to be the reason why I have a heart attack. And Alicia, I'm right there with you. Draco Pimpin, other than Purdy and Christian McCaffrey, who would be your Niners MVP? On the offensive side of the football, if you're asking specifically there, I would have to go with Brandon Ayuk. Career season, one of the best wideouts in the game, and his ability to block goes unnoticed because it doesn't show up on the stat sheet. But Brandon Ayuk is a straight-up dog. So I'd say him on offense. And then defensively, Fred Warner, just the MVP and the best player on this Niners defense this year. Yes, even better than Nick Bosa. Without him, the communication wouldn't be the same. The swagger wouldn't be the same. He brings that energy to the table, and he's able to call out plays and diagnose them before they happen. One of the best linebackers in the history of football. David Marcella, do you think that Purdy will step up and get it done, or will he choke? Green Bay is no joke right now. For any Niner fan who thinks that the Niners are just going to steamroll Green Bay, I highly disagree. I don't think that this game is going to be easy. The Packers are hot. They're fearless. They're confident. The pressure is not on them, and they come in with momentum. And they've basically been playing playoff games for the last month and change because they've been fighting for their playoff lives. They only finished the year 9-8. They're not the team that started 2-5. They're the team that has ended 8-3. And the defense has made some adjustments. The offense can run it and throw it. I have confidence in Brock Purdy. I have confidence in Kyle Shanahan to put him in a position to certainly succeed. And this Green Bay secondary has struggled against the likes of Baker Mayfield as well as Tommy DeVito, and those offenses don't stack up with this Niners offense. But Dak Prescott threw 2 picks, and both of his interceptions were awful. Hopefully Purdy flushed his clunker of a game against the Ravens on Christmas night. John Wallace, do you think that this game, and when we win moving forward, gives us a more clear picture of Steve Wilks? Yeah, you think about the opening jobs across the NFL. You know, he's interviewed for Atlanta. I think they're going to go Bill Belichick, honestly. He's interviewed for the Chargers. I've had some sources tell me that's Harbaugh's job if he wants it. I think Steve Wilks is going to be back in 2024 for a couple of reasons. I don't know if other upstart organizations want an older coach who's a defensive mind. I think they're going to try to go after the young, up-and-coming offensive guru who's going to be able to call plays, and then you don't have to worry about consistently finding an offensive coordinator. That's the position that the Eagles are in right now. And then number 2, you know, Wilks has had his opportunities. I thought he got screwed over in Atlanta. I thought he did a great job with the Carolina Panthers. But I guess this kind of conflicts with what I said with that point number 1. I just don't know for a rebuilding team if an organization wants an older kind of retread of a head coach. And I think that he's done such a great job with this Niners defense. Why not just up your stock once again and then revisit the openings next year if you don't get a head coaching job this year and continue to demand and earn a lot more money as a defensive coordinator? Ryan, thoughts on what was said by the radio host on ESPN Milwaukee saying he hopes Purdy gets hurt? Cowboys do not approve of this message. Yeah, I talked about this on one of our shows this week. I did a YouTube short on this, and it's just shocking. Like, I've been in broadcasting professionally now, this makes me feel damn old, since 2015. And then when I was studying broadcasting at Temple University, I was doing more broadcasting work than I was doing schoolwork. I had a radio show 4 to 5 times a week. I was live on a television show a couple times per week. I was writing for the school paper. I had internships at NBC Sports Philadelphia, 97.5 The Fanatic. I was doing play-by-play for Temple basketball and Temple football. And I was taking 5 classes at the same time. I knew that I had to do that in order to get to where I wanted to get to in broadcasting, and it's worked out well, where I absolutely love my job here at Chat Sports. I love who I work with. Point to producer Trizzy. I love who I work for. I love this platform, being able to chop it up with everybody right here, right? But every time I put on this headset, and every time I'm on the microphone, every time I'm in front of the camera, I know that while I'm an advocate for freedom of speech, and I'm anti-cancel culture, and I want to be able to share my opinions whenever I want because everybody's entitled to do that, what you can't do is say dumb shit like that, where it might be worth it to take a 15-yard penalty to get a late hit on Brock Purdy. Because what have you heard from the Niners in the lead up to this game? Nothing, right? When you give a team bulletin board material, I believe it does fire them up a little bit. Look at how the Niners came out against the Eagles this year after what was said during the offseason from both sides. They went at the Eagles' necks, and in turn, they ended and wrecked the Eagles' season. Eagles weren't the same team after that. So when you say stuff like this, players remember, competitors remember. If there was another host, if there was another content creator, if you want to use that modern term, who said, Chase Sr. sucks, man. He's a fraud. He's a joke. I think he stinks. I'm going to remember that anytime on this show, and I'm going to remember that we reach millions of people per month. And we have one of the most successful Niners channels in a competitive field. And I'm going to remember what a naysayer says about me, and I'm going to let a naysayer know. So I just think it's stupid when people go about stuff like that. Lank. What's your favorite Niners playoff memory? Hop in your time machine. My goodness, there's a lot to choose from. 5 Super Bowls, the catch with both Dwight Clark and Terrell Owens. More recently, a lot of playoff success for some of you young guns. Maybe it's Raheem Mostert going off against the Packers in the 2019 NFC Championship game, or is it Dak Prescott always choking against the Niners? A lot to choose from. Joe Montana, Steve Young, Terrell Owens, Dwight Clark, Ronnie Lott. My goodness, let me know. 16-Bar King! Just saw the 16-Bar King signal in the air at the game on Saturday early, getting footage for the video. And I said during our live show, 16-Bar King, that if we get to $100 in Super Chats, we would do a chase and trace shotgun race. And I said that was dedicated to 16-Bar King. He's got the receptors. And then he hopped on board, he joined the show, and he donated to the program. My man, hope you have a great time at the game on Saturday. Bring back a dub, and make sure you tap in. Let us know what's up during the watch party. If you're subscribed to the show, I want you to type Real One, roll call. We appreciate everybody for supporting the show as always. This is the San Francisco 49ers Report.